We should introduce the band name first, didn't it? So
I did.
no, but I'm editing all of that out.
Okay.
No way of keeping that.
Okay. we are Morning Fall.
Yep.
I am Trenton, the bassist and the vocalist.
I'm Ashton. I do everything else.
Everything
That
else.
is so. We aren't yet successful musicians. We decided it would be more efficient to become VTubers and really famous like Mr. Beast kind of guys before
Yep.
we were world-renowned prodigies. Our first episode, we don't have a name for it. Trenton said morning show.
Morning show.
That's a little
parentheses fall.
Okay,
I don't know.
I'm not entertaining that. Today we're going to be, if you clicked on the video, we're going to be ranking, not necessarily ranking, but we're going to be talking about some of our favorite album covers. I think we have 6 each, right?
Yep,
And
6
then,
each.
I don't know if you brought together your honorable mentions or not.
I have them in my brain. I have
Okay.
them in my noggin.
Because I did also put those on my slideshow just in a different section.
Yep. No, I have them in my brain, and I think an important note about this list is that at least for my list, I don't know about you, but I'm not ranking objectively like I'm not going criteria based. It just pretty much all of these just make me feel
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I think a lot of mine are so different in such vast ways.
Mhm.
Because a lot of these aren't necessarily metal album covers.
Yep.
At least I haven't been limiting the albums I've selected by genre, but most of them are, just because I think metal has a very inherently loud and boisterous and vibrant way of expressing its stuff. I think just because it's such an extreme genre, the what do you call it? The album art matches its energy.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know. I listen to a bunch of stuff, but I would look at my playlist for everything that's not metal, and it was pretty much just pictures of scenery or a picture of the artist. So I was kind of like, I'm okay. Yeah. I definitely think metal art, it just has more to talk about. So majority metal art, but we'll see. There's 6 options, so we will see.
I wasn't talking in the mic, Trenton.
Yes.
Why don't you start us off?
Yep. I'll start us off.
What is the
with
first one?
The first one, an album me and you both know, Hawaii Part 2 by Miracle Musical. I think it's a very evocative, I don't know, I'm transported into that art when I see it. And on top of that, I think it really does suit the vibe that the album's going for, in a really weird way, because the album is almost Christmassy in a few ways.
I don't know if I've ever listened to that album and thought, yeah, I gotta hang up some Christmas lights right now.
There's some listen to it. There's some jingle bells in there.
I would describe it as fantastical, which I
Yes.
think might be giving us the same sort of energy.
Right.
But I've
that's
never
fair.
associated it with any kind of holiday. But I do think it is a very, what is that one? One of the albums.
Dream Suite in C major.
No, there's an album. There's a song off the album, and I think it has snow in the name. Isn't it so?
I think that I don't know about that one.
Okay.
Which
well,
now I look bad because I don't remember. I don't remember
See,
for sure.
I was wondering if I was gonna, because I was thinking of songs off the album and how that relates to the album, and I was and then even playing this out in my fantasy head last night, I was I can't remember the songs off this album.
It's true. It's
But-
true.
I do I think I could see that. I think there's a lot of fantastical stuff going on, but I've never really examined the album art too much. I saw the palm trees on fucking Spotify. I saw the little moon, and I was Hawaii, that's an island.
Okay.
They're palm trees. Island shit. I think those are palm trees. I'm not really sure.
Right. And I just want to make sure you see the big monster. in the back.
The more I look at it, the more interesting it gets. You can see the shark. What do the steps go to? Who knows? Who knows where those steps go?
Ooh.
There's the moon. Who could have ever thought about putting a full moon in the center or background of a piece of art?
Certainly not us.
No one ever thought about that before.
Certainly not us. But yeah, no, I just so what do you think? Do you agree with that as a pick? Is that would you put that anywhere near your?
I don't know if I like the album. I think the album art definitely suits the album completely.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. And in that way, I think that's another part of this list. We're trying not only to compile albums that look good just by themselves, but albums that accurately portray the sonic landscape of whatever album they are for. And I think Hawaii Part 2's album cover, I don't know who did this. I imagine it's just some college student. If my lore
Yes.
dump on this album is correct.
I don't know if he was in college at this point, but Joe Hawley, I would not be surprised if he did this on his own. But I guess I did try to look up and research some of this stuff. I'm not going to have it off the top of my head, but this was the one thing where I did not see who made the album art. So I'm very curious if anyone knows.
I mean, not to diss the album art, but it's very simple. Then again,
Yeah.
I don't think I could do this. I was going to say that, like, if you know a bit about design and you can work your way around a Photoshop, then you could probably make this. I definitely couldn't make this, but that's just because I'm not
Right.
Photoshop or graphic design savvy, really.
No, like I absolutely think
But-
you could make this with some effort, but I think the main merit that you mentioned, of course, is that how suiting it is of the album.
Yeah, it's so spectacular feeling, and it's very theatrical. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's very dramatic. You got a big fucking creature, but it's not in the foreground. It isn't the centerpiece of the artwork. It's just another element, which I think creates a sense of like otherworldliness. There are big creatures in the world that this album takes place in, but it's not the focus. It's not the focal point of the album. And it gives you, I guess, a sense of scale for the world the album lives in.
Yeah. And I also, it's such a small thing, but I love the gray tones. I love how black and white it is, and then just the center part being these
Yeah.
Japanese characters in rainbow. Like that contrasts really nicely to
Do you
me.
know what that means, or is it just Hawaii Part 2 in whatever scripture that is?
That is a wonderful.
it's
I
Japanese.
think that's Miracle Musical is what I think it says.
That would make sense.
But
yeah.
I actually I don't know. I'll look that up for sure. But yeah, so that's my first pick. Again, I don't know if we clarified for sure, but this is in no particular order.
Yeah. So I don't think we should rate them out of 10. I was gonna. What do you rate it out of 10? Doesn't matter. I don't think it. I don't think that's a reliable numeric.
Because we did, not reliable because we picked our top ones.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm just gonna say 10 out of 10.
Yeah. All right.
I think it's fair. If actually, I think it would be a good idea to say for you to say what you think about it on a scale of 1 to 10. Because obviously I say 10. But
I'd give it like. I mean, it does its job perfectly as an album cover. It's representing, and it's affecting the way I perceive the album. So I don't mind giving that a 10 out of 10.
yeah,
Maybe as a
there you
piece of
go.
art, it's like okay to me, but that's just because I don't know. It's
Yeah.
very atmospheric, so I might give it a good score there too. And is that a fucking galaxy in the background? Do you see that strobe of light that's cutting through the screen diagonally?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a rainbow.
Is
but
that supposed to be a rainbow?
I think it's supposed to be a rainbow. It's just hard to tell because it's in gray.
Yeah, it's monochromed.
Yes. But I think that's a rainbow. But that would be
Alright.
cool if it was a galaxy too. Yeah. Either way, yeah, that's my pick.
Okay. Ashton's pick. Let's go. We have
Yes.
we have Terrorism by the technical death metal band Aborted.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a super deep meaning behind this album. There's obviously content of the album, but the album art is so extreme and it's so awesome and it's so fucking fantastical and it's of such grand scale and it's just so gnarly. If you're looking, I assume you're looking at it on the screen, assuming future Ashton does his editing job. It's a gnarly piece of art. There's such Lovecraftian shit going on. It's great. You can see and also I imagine you get the sense of this if you look at it, but this looks like it took fucking forever to draw.
Oh my god.
Because every single you can point your eye in any direction and it just looks like it took hours to do even just that few square millimeters of pixel.
Yeah, no, dude, that is because for some background, Ashton got a shirt of this like years ago. I think it might have even been in middle school.
It was in middle school.
It was in middle school. Got a shirt of it, and immediately it just clicked with me how fucking awesome that design is. It's not on my list, but like I love it a lot. It's kind of making me ponder. Yeah, and a big thing to me with a lot of these tech death albums, I feel like, or just
tech death is, I think, most like 90% of these, not 90, but a lot of the albums that I've picked are tech death albums.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bar Olofsson did this. He also did a piece for Signs of the Swarm. It's the one with the guy and he's like
Yeah.
there's shit going on. I think Cesspool of Ignorance is off of that album.
Okay, yeah, that's
But
a good. Yeah.
I think it's the same guy. He's done a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
This looks digital to me, but it's so colorfully vibrant, and it reminds me a lot of it is very 80s vibrant color creature stuff going on, and it's sick.
Right.
And the logo is sick.
Yep.
I don't know if that should directly correlate with great album, but the way this album cover's logo is integrated into it is it congeals very well, and it doesn't stick out to me very much.
Yeah, I also love the color composition, as if I know anything about it.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I don't know anything about it either. I am an artist, but all of my fucking art is in monochrome because
Yes.
I don't really know a lot about color theory.
Mm-hmm.
But the way the like pinkish hues merge with that sick fucking green, that ghastly green,
Yes.
I love it. It's just like I look at it, and the album sounds just like that. If you're looking for some tech death, all of the albums that I've picked I think are great. They're also some of my favorite albums.
Mm-hmm.
This album fucks completely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think a big thing to me about a lot of tech death albums, and I guess we'll see as we go if this stands true, but I just see these amazing artists, much like this one, but it just doesn't strike anything in me. But there's just something very interesting about the image. Like it gets me thinking about what could be happening in the image.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to listen to the album. Whether or not the album gives me those answers doesn't matter, because that art alone made me listen to that album, and I think that's an amazing sign.
Yeah, absolutely. I bought that shirt before I'd even I knew like one or two songs off of it, but the album art was just so great that I needed it. I also have this album on vinyl. I got that vinyl before I was really a big fan of this album, just because the album art was so sick.
Yep.
I'm gonna grab more coffee, but I think we've thoroughly discussed this beautiful piece of artwork.
Absolutely. 10 out of 10, by the way.
All right.
Okay.
I'm back. Trenton, what's your second pick?
All right. So I wanted to continue the theme of what you just talked about. I'm sure this is also on your list. I'm like 99% sure. Relentless Mutation by Arcspire.
It is not.
Really? Okay. Wow. I'm shocked by that, actually. Yeah. So to talk about it real quick.
Yeah, I guess we'll approach the album art itself first, and then afterwards we'll talk about the artist, because you want to talk about the artist.
Yes, I very much did. So first off, I just think I get a very visceral reaction when I look at it. Like, it is very, again, evocative, as I said before. Like, I feel an anguish emotion when I look at it. Again, talking about the colors, I think it's bold. I think the color choice is bold.
It's a blue album. Blue albums often fuck.
This is true. Because again, tech death, whatever, all these things. I think it's an interesting color to go for. And lastly, I think it really does suit the album, especially if you look into what the convoluted story of the album is. It makes sense. It fits the story. You could, and I as I'm listening to the album, and I hear parts and I hear lyrics, I'm thinking about that image as I go. You know what I mean? It really, the image, when I think of the album, I think of the image. And I don't usually do that, honestly. I'm not too visual of a guy. I'm much more an auditory person. But so when something really strikes me like that, it definitely had to be on my list for sure.
I think the album art's okay.
Okay.
I mean, I don't hate it. I don't know. I don't feel anything when I look at it. I guess I'm not getting the primal sense of urgency when he goes, ah! Maybe it's because I'm not that big of a fan of the album. I'm not not a fan of it, but I just haven't listened to that much. I mean, I listened to A Dark Horizontal a bunch of times, but I don't know anything about the concept of the album.
Yeah.
The album art's cool. I don't know what the black goo is, but I don't know. I think Phase is just yeah, it's cool. Sure. Why not? But I mean, I guess it's a technically proficient piece of art. It's cool to look at.
So here's a question. Do you like the Bleed the Future?
I think it's gorgeous. I think it's an utterly beautiful piece of artwork. And the more I look at it, the more detail I extract from it.
Okay.
I was like, when you said Archspire, I was like, oh, he said Bleed the Future. And then I was like, wait, no, he didn't. Why didn't he say Bleed the Future? Because Bleed the Future is awesome. It's a great album cover.
I don't get the same emotion when I look at it, and it definitely has layers.
It's just when I see the Bleed the Future art, which we should, I guess, spare how much we talk about it because it's not on the list.
Yeah.
But it's just when you look at it, it gives you this great story, this sense of like a grand great story, and it's like fucking sick. It's so fun to look at, and the colors are beautiful. I think the artist, I can't remember his name, but he's done some other stuff. We got cut off. My camera battery died because I forgot to charge it. But Eliran Cantor.
Yes, I wanted to bring him up specifically because I found it very fast. If you look at his art, and then you kind of, because it didn't really set in how different his art style was from the other artists I've seen before. But if you look at it, that his art is very much like, am I crazy, or is that it looks like the type of art you'd see, like a more detailed version of the art you'd see in like Revolutionary War paintings.
Yeah, I follow him on Instagram.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, cool.
But I think, I'm not sure if he does his work digitally or acrylic. It looks like oil painting to me.
Yeah.
Or acrylic. And it is very like neoclassical Renaissance era. Not necessarily Renaissance, maybe a little after that, but it is very classical looking. That motherfucker, this looks like art degree major bullshit. Because I don't think anyone else could. This looks like an educated man who has done actual art classes and studied his work, his vocation, if you will, for a very long time. And it shows. His use of color is gorgeous. Everything is gorgeous. His anatomy's gorgeous. This guy clearly, he's doing the thing. He's fucking drawing shit.
I know. And I think looking at his art made me appreciate Relentless Mutation more. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say about it.
Okay.
So, yeah. W. All right. What is your next pick? Your second pick?
A maze of recycled creeds by the French tech death band. You would have never guessed it would have been another tech death band. The French tech death band Gorod. This fucking album art is gorgeous. I don't know who did it. I started listening to this band because of the album that they put out right after this. I think it's called Urethra or Ethra. I don't know. I know it sounds like urethra, motherfucker. Don't fucking laugh like some goddamn fucking great. Don't fucking laugh at me. I didn't fucking write the goddamn album cover. I didn't invent that word. But this album art is gorgeous. Look at it. Fucking gaze upon its beauty.
Okay, I just want to instantly interject and just say that is fantastic.
It is so fantastic.
You've never shown me this before, the artwork for this, and that is crazy.
It is so fucking sick. Like, the lyrics of the album, I think, it's about like otherworldly shit. Like one of the songs is called Celestial Nature. It's some crazy French shit. I'm not French. Then again, it's not like the lyrics are in French, but I don't fully comprehend the album's lyrical content. But just looking at the big mountain skull things, that's awesome. That's sick. This looks like really, really detailed comic book art to me.
Yeah.
Like it's like semi-realism, and I fucking love it. I started doing art mainly because I was so into comic books, and that gives me that fucking it's like modern comic book art, like Greg Capullo, fucking what's that other guy's name? Jim Lee. That semi-realistic but still very exaggerated comic book nature of it. The subject of the artwork, especially, the composition's great. You could accuse this art, I think, of suffering from just logo stamped on syndrome, but they did change the logo to fit and match the colors. But it doesn't look like they were thinking that much about logo placement when they were putting the art together. But it still compositionally works. There's still a clear amount of negative space for the logo to live in, to where it doesn't look like just plastered over it. Yeah. But I think it looks great.
Dude, yeah, I wish I had more to add on to it, because I've never heard this album. I'll definitely give it a listen after this. Music review series. Anyway. No, but I'm just honestly astounded. Like, I wish I could give more to it other than like 10 out of 10. I would need a magnifying
glass to really understand what's going on here.
Yes. I
don't really like. There's some people who look like some kind of indentured servants, and this ghoul with his little fucking, I'm in a hood, I'm the guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here, but it just looks magnificent. Going. The stars are beautiful. It's really.
I didn't even notice the stars.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought that
really
was
nicely colored. I like the fact that every character who's in the foreground is highlighted a brighter shade of gray, as opposed to the background, which looks intentionally dimmed to let the people who are up front pop. It just looks awesome. Yeah. It has so much depth. It's so well composed.
Yeah. No, I really, again, I wish I could add more, but like everything you're saying, that's a 10. That's a certified 10.
I love this album.
I love that.
I
That's
think
awesome.
we've glazed enough. We can move on.
We'll fuck it. Yeah.
I don't think either of us are gonna have something really insightful more to say about it.
Nope.
So what's your next pick?
Okay. Let me. I want to get your raw reaction.
I'm really fucking angry.
Okay. So I'm gonna start talking. Don't look yet.
I already looked.
You did? Okay.
But I'll
Fuck.
close them
Anyways,
again.
I don't know if this is a controversial opinion. I don't know how I feel about this, but White Pony by Deftones. There's just something about it. That's all I can say. There's just something about it. I love all of Deftones artwork. I actually didn't know this, but pretty much all of it was made by the same guy.
I don't like it that much.
I just think it's, again, I think it's very much evocative.
The only one that I really like is Diamond Eyes, and that's because
that's the worst one. I'm sorry.
The picture they used, the photographer who got that photo of the that owl, the one they used looks sick. If you get the album, you can see the other shots they got of that owl, and they're all gorgeous. They're all awesome. I would put Deftones almost in the same boat as Gojira, but much, much below, just because it's less like art centered and more graphic design centered. Like this looks like the logo of a bank. I'm bored looking at this stupid fucking pony. This is ridiculous, and I'm upset. This fucking stupid fucking big gray bullshit, and they just put their fucking stupid fucking name in black, like normal fucking, what do they call it? That's the most basic fucking Arial text I've ever seen. Some fucking clip art fucking pony. I'm upset. I'm very upset.
Okay, no, but I really just think it's very evocative of the album.
Yeah, evocative, sure.
And I really keep using that album. It very much suits the album and the music that you hear. Okay. We were talking, and nothing's changed. We were just back here after 5 minutes. The sun's crazy.
Yeah, I had to pee.
Yeah. Anyways, talking about White Pony, we've settled down after your pee session, right? So listen, I'll stop. What are you doing?
I was trying to turn the computer down so the feedback wouldn't be crazy.
Whatever. Okay.
I was really comfortable.
So all I'm trying to say is that it's iconic. Okay, it's simple and it fits Deftones like a glove.
Yeah, but like compare it to all the other awesome like you know that one painting, Saturn eating his son?
Sure.
It's all like on that level, and then you're just like a pony.
No, but like here's what I'll say. Maybe this is fucking crazy of me, but I just think my opinion is just correct because you think that the Owl album cover is better. Honestly, that's like the most that I have never listened to that album because of that. Because it's just so boring.
Well, you're simple for that.
No, you see Owl flying and you're like, good.
I don't know any of the songs off this album. Is that one song? That
like half of their best songs are on.
That's not right.
It's their best album.
That is, I mean, I don't know.
In my opinion,
I haven't heard it, so I really can't say.
I mean, like the songs in this album.
I don't know any of the songs off this album, Trenton.
He's lying.
Don't fucking glance at the camera like I'm some sort of
like this is The Office.
Some fool. Okay,
but
stop.
I'm serious though. You know, like half the songs.
I don't.
You
That's
do.
the problem, isn't it?
You
so
do.
I don't.
You do. Let's do a little test.
No, okay, no.
Let's do a little test. What songs do you know off this album?
No, because it's gonna get copyrighted, and then YouTube is gonna demonetize
what
us.
What copyright? I'm not putting out any songs. I'm just gonna tell you the songs that you know.
Song names?
Yes. First off, Passenger. You know Passenger.
I don't listen to it. I only know that there's a song named Passenger. I've never heard it.
Ashton, you know Passenger. Are you telling me you haven't heard the one song with Maynard James Keenan?
No, I haven't, because I'm not a fucking tool glazer like you are.
Fuck you. Okay, you know Change. You know Change.
I know. I've heard it on TikTok.
You change. Fuck you. What the fuck? You know Change.
I don't listen to it, Tristan. I'm telling you, I'm an album kind of fella.
Okay,
and that fucking album is not on my Spotify.
Digital Bath.
I've heard of it. I don't understand how
You're fucking with me. You're fucking with me. You
I know that
these fucking
songs exist. I do not listen to them. I can understand that it's an iconic and very simple and effective album cover, but I think just compared to the other masterpieces, these masterclasses of modern art that we've looked at so far, it just simply disappoints in my eyes. Maybe if this wasn't compare it, like, I can appreciate this album for what it is. When I look at it, it's not even a fucking pony, isn't it? It's a horse.
He's fucking. We're done. We're done with this one.
All right, moving on to better and greater things.
It's not. It's very.
We have Hypnosis by Yep Beving. There are two of them. The left one is on, or the one with the ladder that isn't around a skull is the one that's on Spotify. But when I looked up the album cover, that one also popped up, and I don't know which is more like the album cover. But I think both of them are fucking awesome. I love both of them very much. The one on the left, the one with just the ladder going up, is the one that I'm more accustomed to, and that's the one that I had in mind when making the list.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about it?
Man, I'm very like I'm trying to figure out like what is that? What's going on? Because I'm kind of far away. What's going on in the left picture? Because they're in a crater. What are those two people? Or is that there are
two people. One of them has the arm around the other. They're holding a torch up to this ladder that goes up to the sky.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that is very interesting. I'd say like the one on the right like kind of strikes me more quickly, but like I don't know. I see it. They're both equally good in my eyes. I really like that.
Plus,
so I guess my question: what kind of album is this? Like, what's the genre here?
It's like contemporary minimalist classical. Yep, Beving.
Gotcha.
Most of his other albums are just piano, but this one is it's very piano centered, but there's full orchestration around it. And there's also like modular synth stuff and just normal synth stuff going on in a lot of the songs.
Okay. I could see how that translates.
And if you look at the track list, it's all very what do they call it? Space oriented. It's very beautiful, and the sonic landscape of the album paired with these images, it creates this really thick sense of wanderlust and just fucking space stuff, and it makes me feel real nice special emotions. And hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
What do they call it? You know, Jacob's ladder, the thing that they built to try and get to heaven?
Right.
What if that's what's going on there? And what if the one with the skull is symbolic of humankind trying to trample over their mortality to create some greater divine sense, but they don't ever reach it because it's just nothing up there, depending on who you ask.
That is a very interesting observation. I do like that. I think. Oh, I do like that. Yeah. Can you tell me what a henosis is?
No. No.
Okay.
Wait. I think, it's like, I think either a philosophical or like a physics term. I did like hear it and I saw it. I read the description of it. I can't remember. It has something to do with planes of existence. I can't remember exactly what's going on with it. Mm-hmm. I honestly don't know much about the album cover. I didn't do any research into it. I just know that it's gorgeous and it's fucking.
It really is.
It's very nice looking. And Yep Beving has like an anime-esque origin story.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Consider me invested.
His Spotify description reads that his grandmother like died and she didn't have like anything. She left him only this piano, and he was like, I'm going to use this piano to expel my demons and create greater things, and I'm going to truly represent myself through this thing.
You know, I didn't care about this guy because I thought his name looked stupid, but now
that's because you're xenophobic. Yeah, that's what the fuck is. That's what I thought.
No, it's Jope Beving, but the main thing is that is a very great backstory though. That's very cool, and I mean, I think, I not that I know. What'd you say it was? Neoclassical.
Dinga jinga winga dinga. I don't. Yeah.
Whatever it is. Not that I know how those albums usually look, but just something. It definitely feels different to me than
there's another album of his. I'll put it up on the screen. What the fuck is it called? I can't remember what it's called right now, but you'll see it on the screen. It's just this.
Whoa!
It's this naked. Stop.
What?
Please stop. It's this like naked lady, and she's very lower-esque position.
Oh, low. Yeah.
And it's very like German expressionist and very, what do they call it, modern artsy. Some of his other shit pisses me off. There's this one called Hermeticism. It's just some strokes of fucking random paint on some fucking white shit. Go fuck yourself. You do this and then you follow it up with.
But the
do you want to rate it? I don't know if we're still doing that. The metaphor.
Yeah, no, I give it a 10. Not 9 because I don't know what it. I feel like I shouldn't. I feel like it's a 9 leaning on 10 once I know what the album's about. Once I hear the album, that's really good.
Yeah. What's your next pick?
My pick for the next album is The Sound of Perseverance by Death, specifically the 2011 version for that re-release. I just think it's objectively better. I mean, do you agree with that?
Yeah, the other one just... I don't understand what went wrong, because I think it maybe the first one's like a sketch. I don't know. Like I was going to say maybe it's just a poor quality image of this one, but they look distinctly and completely different. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what happened with that.
Yeah, but so here's a good thing I learned also. I forget the artist's name. I'll put it up. But I learned it. But he did both versions, and he was asked to come back on and do a different higher quality version, I guess, for the re-release. And I appreciate that, not replacing the old artist, but instead giving him the opportunity to do it again in a different way. So I think that's cool. But I mean, just so all that stuff aside, the analytical stuff, like just look at that thing.
I don't
just
like
look
it.
at that thing.
I don't like it that much.
You don't like it? God damn it. What do you mean? How do you not like this one?
I don't know. The fucking mountain looks ugly.
No, it's not a mouth, it's a mountain.
I'm saying the mountain looks stupid. It looks like Patrick. Look at the fucking mountain.
Oh my god. No, it does not look like Patrick.
Imagine like if you put 2 eye holes above the big fucking hole. It's Patrick going, ah. Stop.
You're gonna ruin it for me. And if you get that out of your fucking mind, it looks fantastic.
I don't know.
It's like fucking people climbing it and oh my goodness.
The reason why I can't really appreciate it is because my eyeballs never register the people climbing it. Mm-hmm. I have to really examine it, which I seldom ever do because most of the time I'm listening to the album, not looking at the album. Mm-hmm. So I don't realize the people. I just see like, I see the fucking mountain, and it's like. I don't know. And also, I just like most of their other artwork too. Their earlier stuff is by Ed Repka, who does like a lot of Megadeth stuff. Right. He's very famous, like thrash metal artist. So it's iconic just because of that. And then like, what do they call it? Human. Up to Symbolic was this guy who he would use like chemicals to create pictures with just chemicals and the reactions that they would make on paper, and then he would draw over that, which is why they all look so unique and different, and they have that specific style. And I guess maybe knowing that and me having like just the Symbolic album, I think is so far superior to this one. The album covers, I don't know, I would have picked it. I don't think this is a bad one. I'd give it like a 6 maybe.
It's like fucking stab my heart out.
Maybe 6 or 7. It's good. It fits the album very well, but as a piece of art by itself, I don't know. I just maybe I'm in a bad mood. maybe if you caught me at a different time.
Maybe my Deftones argument just really got to you. But no. But here's my okay. This might be crazy, with the exception of Human, that album, Human. Yeah,
Human, the one with the skeleton.
Yeah. With the exception of that one, I don't like any of Death's other album artwork. Now I will say it adds a lot more. I did not know about the chemical thing. Like that adds a lot more. But I just don't fuck with it. I never liked the whole like the Megadeth artist you were talking about. I never thought that fit Death. Ever.
Yeah, I agree. I think their earlier stuff, it's definitely like. I think it suits their music for the time, and it is pretty iconic. You got the leprosy guy, the spiritual healing stuff. I like the idea of the artwork, but I don't know, maybe the execution of it. I understand why people really don't like it. I still like it because I like those albums a lot.
I
And
think that's a big difference because I don't like those albums.
Yeah,
either,
I love those albums. I got nostalgia for them. I also have nostalgia for this album, but I think it maybe is just the style of art that it's going for. I like the middle ground between really surreal and like still having some tangible images to hold on to that was like up to human through symbolic.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I mean, I think individual thought patterns is much more like vague and conceptual compared to this. I still like this. I think the image really invokes the sense that the album is going for, that triumphant, really optimistic feeling that Chuck, I think, was trying to invoke through the lyrical content of the album. It really it works. But I don't know. It's never stood out to me that much, but I think it's okay. It's cool.
And the last thing I'll just say, as I love how red it is, like it's just fucking red. Like
I think that's one of the, like, all the mist, it sort of obscures the artwork in a way that I don't think complements it that well.
See, I don't know about that. I think it's just, I don't know. I don't know how to like describe how I feel other than that. I just think it's so fucking cool. Where like it's Red Mountain, Patrick Mountain. You know, I just think it's awesome being able to make this full shut up.
I'm
make this full image of just fucking red, and I can make out everything I'm seeing.
You good? That's me.
Oh, what? I was going crazy. I was like, what is this like fucking lamp doing? But yeah, so that's my pick.
It looks like a goblin shark a little bit. But that's
Can you
my
stop
last
trying
comment.
to ruin it for me, please?
I'm sorry. I'm just speaking
It
my
does
mind.
look like a goblin. I do see that more than I see Patrick.
I have to put a picture of a goblin shark now under the thing.
I'm gonna stop doing that.
I'm gonna get more coffee.
Okay.
I don't know if you're gonna like this one that much, because you don't know this album, I don't think, at all, and I don't think you listen to any of this kind of music. Divorce Lawyers, I Shaved My Head by Jordan Mason and the what do they call it? The Horse Museum. It's a concept album about transsexuality and non-binary stuff and a war that's going on, and it's more specifically about these two characters and this really, really harmful relationship for both of them because they can't really figure out how they identify and feel in relation to their gender, and it's sort of tearing their relationship apart, but they don't have anyone else really to relate to, and they can't really work it out between them, but they have no choice but to stay together because there's a war going on. And I think all of that is quite perfectly summed up by this really, really homey and warm-looking album cover.
With a horse head.
Yeah, which I think is to just really express the lack of identity that the characters feel, and Jordan Mason themselves, who is non-binary. And this album, I think, was released in the early 2000s when that wasn't really a concept. So they, at that time, had no even like vocabulary to navigate the things that they might have been feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's so fucking like unique, and it makes me feel such unique emotions when I look at it. Mm-hmm. This fucking dress-wearing, very hairy-legged individual with boots on, this gun and the horse head. It's just so like, what's going on over there?
Right. Yeah. No. So I'll just say your whole description. I consider me invested. I want to listen to this album immediately. I'm very curious. I love that. And I can totally see how what's going on in the image is indicative of the album. So I say all that to say my opinion could totally change once I listen to the album. But yeah, I don't think I care about it visually.
Yeah, it's very like, especially compared to all the other stuff we've looked at so far, this is very different.
Very different for sure. It's one of those things where I think if I saw it scrolling or something, I would totally skip it because I'd be like, ugh.
But, what the fuck?
But as I said, I mean, in all seriousness, I really like the concept that you told me, and I think that could change once I listen to it. But
this is in my top 5 albums of all time for me. I have it on vinyl, but it's just so like heart-wrenching, and the sonic image, when paired with this piece of visual media, creates this thick fucking vibe that's very, I don't really know how to describe it other than homely and like warm and cold but warm. It's very cozy to me, even though it's a very sad piece of art. it still is so, it's just so potent, and I love this album cover because it reminds me of all that, and it's very interesting, especially compared to like the Creature stuff of like most metal, and I don't know, folk and like Neutral Milk Hotel. I don't think you know who they are, but that like style of music has this very specific niche emotional quality about it, which I adore very much, and this is just a part of that. It's great. I don't think either of us are gonna have much more to say about it because I don't know anything about. I know like some of the concept album stuff going on, but I don't know anything about this artwork in terms of its creation.
Mm-hmm. I will say I don't like the logo, but I mean,
love it.
No, I don't. I mean, I feel like I could have. I mean, I'm sure. Again, I'm sure that's part of the goal, but I do wish I wish it was something different. But then again, in fairness, I don't know what I could picture being there.
Yeah,
I just like I don't like the hand like phone drawn screenshot. It looks like it was screenshotted on a phone and then you drew over it.
I love it. I like.
You know.
I don't know. I like the like DIY feeling it has. Although I will say Jordan kind of just kept going with that style throughout all the rest of their discography, which I was like, well, not all of it, but a lot of it. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know. There's other fonts. There's other fonts. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but I think we can safely move on.
Yep. Look up Violence by Nothing Face. So this is my, underrated hidden pick, I think. I mean, I don't know I don't think you know this album, do you?
I've never heard of this.
Yep. I haven't met a lot of people. My dad showed me this one. But the album cover, ooh, it's so fucking good, and it was one of the first ones I picked that I knew I had to show you, get it on this list. So just, I guess I'm curious, what do you think first off, just by looking at it?
I like it. I love the like, what do they call it? 1960s, 1970s, very high contrast horror, woman screaming or scared face that is always on all of those old horror pictures. Other than that, I don't know. It's very like comic booky, which I'm prone to like because I like comic books. I don't know what the album sounds like at all. I couldn't even like. What is this? Looks like some kind of industrial or punk album. Do you know what Ministry sounds like?
I don't.
Okay. Trenton's dad also likes Ministry, and that's kind of what they sound like. So I'm imagining that's what this sounds like.
I'll show you some songs after this. But I'd say industrial is a good word. Maybe they're very weird. I haven't heard a lot like them. Very interesting. I think this fits also. I think the color palette is also very unique. I don't think I've ever seen an album cover with
that
this
very big fucking in your face gray without just a boring pony on the corner of it.
yes. The gray mixed in with that green. Is that green? Colorblind guys. Be careful.
Oh, that's right. I was gonna mention this. Elena told me not to because she was like, people are going to think you're ableist, but I think it's important to contextualize. Trenton's colorblind, so we aren't necessarily having the same visual experience when we look at some of these. Which usually it's just, I kind of joke about it because it's kind of funny sometimes, but this is like very visual, and I think it might warrant mentioning that he can't necessarily compute the same colors that I'm computing in the same
average
way.
Person can. Yeah. Yes, I to clarify, red-green colorblind. So, but it does affect a lot. So I do get that. We're gonna cut this. No, I'm just kidding. No, but so either way, is that green though? That's like a
greenish yellow.
Greenish yellow.
I would say it's more yellow than it is green.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, but I just had to be sure. But I love the contrast between those two things. I love, as you said, the comic book style makes it really fresh and interesting. And I also love the fact that it's like not. Like, they probably could have expanded the image to make it like a full face or whatever and take up the whole thing. But I kind of like just the strip, just the eyeballs, and that the fact that it's almost taking up half of the album space. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would describe this album as being simple and iconic in a way that you are viewing the Deftones one as. But I think this is, like, for me, succeeding in it because this still has enough going on to where it's still interesting to look at. I look at the Deftones art once and I'm like, I know what's going on here, and it's boring to me. But this is in between boring and still very interesting. I think just because of the subject of the artwork itself.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, and because I think, I mean, really looking at this, I completely agree. I mean, obviously, I do love the Deftones album, but in terms of like what sticks out to me, I mean, I think this is better to me also.
Yeah, which I often think about, album art in the context of buying it, like physically. If you don't listen to the album at all and you're just buying something new at a record store or something, which one are you going to buy first? This one or the Deftones one? Which one speaks to you more as a person? And I think that's where a lot of my headspace is coming at most of my picks.
Mm-hmm.
Albums that are different and unique in a way that is very them and very different from a lot of the other stuff going on in the genre, but still good by itself. It's not just different, it's good, and it excels at what it wants to do.
Right. Yeah, I agree. So this is that I think this is going to be my sleeper pick, and I hope more people. I think this album is really good, and I hope more people listen to it. So
I don't think I have anything more to say.
Yeah. All right. Your next pick.
The text, the font's kind of ugly in my opinion, but I don't think that's here nor there.
Yeah.
Even though it is on the album cover.
I could see that.
I think
it. I think it suits it. Kind of.
Yeah, I don't know what the album sounds like, but just looking at it, like that's like hurting my eyes.
I think it suits the sound of the album per se, but more like I think it suits the artwork that is there. But either way,
no comment.
No comment.
Next pick. Ooh. Remission by Mastodon. I love all of their album art. This is probably lower on my, I guess, theoretical tier list of my favorite Mastodon albums. I do like it quite a lot. I like it more than a few of their others. I like all of their albums. But this fucking album cover is just so fucking primal and perfect, and it's just so intense to the eye, even without listening or liking the album as much as something like, what do they call it? Crack the Sky. This is just so fucking gnarly and awesome, and it's so nice to look at, and it's just so emotional.
Right. I mean, and I'll say, I think everything you said is true. The primal feeling, the artwork is objectively fantastic. I think I will say I have a hard time with this one, at least maybe like disconnecting the music from it, because I don't know, I forget about this album cover a lot. Like when I was thinking about Mastodon album covers, I forgot about this one. It's not their worst at all. I can think of the worst one, but
what is it?
I forget.
What has it got?
Do you know the fucking golden bug thingy? I don't like that album cover. It was
golden bug.
It was like a bug thingy. It's like in space. It's like.
Oh, are you talking about Once More Around the Sun?
I think so. Yes.
I
don't fuck with that album.
I understand. I like the album. I don't
cover.
I like the album cover. I like, but I think just because I know what it's trying to go for, but I definitely could see how looking at it kind of hurts your eyes, and it's just a splash of color. But I think that's what it wants to be. It's trying to be very maximalist. Yes, which I appreciate, but I definitely, compared to everything else they've put out album cover wise, and their just visual direction as a band, I think is extraordinary.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I think part of the reason I don't like is because I guess I'm not asking that you don't step out of your boundaries, obviously, but I just think that they had a style, and that was just, they had their style, and then they took like a million steps out with that album, and it was very jarring, and I can picture myself having a Mastodon vinyl collection and just being very unhappy, like going from left to right, stopping on that one, and then continuing on. Yeah. But anyway,
that album art in particular kind of reminds me of like, it looks like it's trying to go for like Hindu artwork, which I think is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But this album, I think all of their album art is done by the same artist. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Mm-hmm. But of all of them, I think I love this one the most. And also their lettering, the what do they call it? Calligraphy that's just around.
I was going to say, I think that's my favorite part of it.
Yeah, that's on all of their albums. And also apparently, I know that Crack the Sky is about the drummer Braun's sister who had committed suicide at a very young age, but I've seen some people say that this one is also supposed to be about that. Also pretty cool. I don't know if it necessarily informs the album art, but it's awesome. And also, if you don't know, the first like 4 Mastodon albums are supposed to correspond with Elements, and this one obviously is fire because it's on fire. See, now if fucking Deftones had pulled out with this shit on White Pony, that would have been a baller move. But no, they had to have 0 fucking brain cells.
Do you actually think this would fit Deftones?
Not at all.
Exactly.
But
we
I
have to
don't
think
care.
logically. No, but I will say, I got a little sidetracked with talking about the other album. But yeah, I don't know. I do think that it lacks some of the iconicness of my favorite Mastodon album covers. However, I may need to re-listen to get a better feeling about it. But yeah, I see that this would be your favorite totally though. The artwork is fantastic. I've never seen a horse more in anguish.
Yeah. I also thought about putting either Crack the Sky or what do they call it? Leviathan.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. There's just something so intense about this piece of art. I just love it. And the colors are beautiful. It's just a gorgeous piece of artwork. I kind of felt bad. I think if you look, I'll show it on the screen. There's like a full version of the Leviathan artwork that isn't on the actual album cover. I've showed it to Trenton. And if that was like on the album, it would have definitely cleared because that's it's just so, there's so much going on. It's so awesome. That one also, I believe, is inspired by like traditional Hindu work. The artist, I think he had stated at some point that he was trying to make the whale, Moby Dick, seem godlike in comparison to Ahab, Leviathan being about the actual book, fucking Moby Dick by Herman Melville. It's just it's so grand and it's awesome and I love it. But I love this one also.
Can I just say I absolutely agree. Like I looked at the Mastodon albums and when I saw those full pieces, because the same thing was for Crack the Sky too. They had the same one, same thing, and it's like those albums with like their full. Like, I get that it couldn't have been, but they're pretty damn good.
It's so fucking fantastic, and I feel so bad for the artist who labors over this beautiful piece of work, knowing eventually that it's gonna get cropped to just like. The highlights.
It's crazy. Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and take my next one. You think?
Yeah.
Blood Mountain by Mastodon. We just learned that was apparently a peak in Georgia.
Yeah,
That's
which
cool.
they are a Georgian band. Ooh.
But yeah, dude, I've always thought this. I love, obviously, it was really between Crack the Sky and this one, but upon looking at Crack the Sky again, I realized that the things I liked about it were the 2 men.
Yeah, the
two
czars.
Men. Yeah, I loved the czars. I love whatever was going on at the bottom. I'm forgetting now.
It's a bear.
The bear. Yes, the bear.
It tattooed.
I love
Dude, I thought about getting it being like a massive chess piece, but it's such an intricate piece of visual work, and it's gonna take forever, and it's gonna be expensive. So I don't know.
One day, maybe. Yeah, but the bear. But then I realized I don't like anything that's going on in the center.
You don't like
it was just kind of
ether.
I don't like the ether. But I get that it maybe serves the overall piece. But either way, I realized that I liked about a half of what was going on. I love everything that's going on here. I honestly I can't put into words, which sucks because it's my last one. But I love this thing. It suits the album. First off, it's a very primal album and nature themed for sure. I forget what the overall this was also a concept album, I believe.
The concept for the album is just a guy's journey to the top of a mountain to do something. I don't know what's in the lyrics.
Yeah. But
this was, as far as corresponding to elements, this was supposed to be Earth.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And love the color palette. Mastodon, it has a wonderful color palette. Again, I just want to say they don't shy away from color, but I fucking love it. Man. It's honestly perfect to me.
I think it's cool.
Yeah. Do you? So I guess so. Here, let's have a fun little thing. Where would we rank the different Mastodon album covers? Because I think
this
all
could be an
really
entire
good.
video by itself.
That's true.
But I'll go with, I guess, my first 2, the ones that I know would be on top, Leviathan and Remission, and on bottom, I have no idea. This
I
would
mean-
probably be like middle or lower. And it's I like this album. Let me talk about this one for a second because I didn't
Yeah.
get to do that. I like it a lot. It's obviously very cool. It reminds me a lot of like indigenous symbolism. There's this book, The Only Good Indians, which I just finished reading by Stephen Graham Jones, which is about Native American stuff, and it's a revenge story. But a lot of that book revolves around these 4 Native people's relationship to this elk that they killed a long time ago. And it reminds me of that just because of, obviously the deer and the antlers and stuff, but it does invoke a very tribal and indigenous element about it, which I quite like. But I don't like hot, sunny albums, which it might be an interesting criticism. It's not even really a criticism.
It's just a personal.
I love cold, dark, very wet albums, if that really makes any sense. And this is very, like, if it's sunny outside, I'm going to listen to this. But most other times I would select not to. But I appreciate it. I think it's a fantastic piece of artwork. But I don't know. I don't know if I always like just a character in the center, which is why I never went with what do I call it? Emperor of Sand. I don't like I think it's a cool piece of artwork,
Absolutely.
but Gojira's most recent album, Fortitude, just has a guy in the center.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, this one's obviously more unique than that one. But it falls into the same trope. I don't know. It's good, but I like other things more a lot.
Yeah, I get that. But in terms of that ranking thing, yeah, I'd have this one. I'd have Crack the Sky at the top. Do we consider? I mean, I'm forgetting the album name. The Torch. What is the Torch one?
No,
Like the
because I
Torch?
think that's like compilations.
Okay, because I was gonna say if we consider that one, I think it's cool, but it's also boring.
It's so boring. It's
yeah,
just a torch.
It's just a torch. So I would put that at bottom. If not, then yeah, I would. The golden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call of the Mastodon. Do you know what that one looks like? It's just like gray shit and then their logo in the middle. It's not good. I don't know if most people count it. I think it is all original material though, so that one's not good to me.
I mean, just for the rest of the description, I'd think it'd be down there too.
I guess we can move on now to my final official pick, and then I'll move on to a few of my honorable mentions, and I imagine you'll do the same.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yo.
Shit. Oh, you know what the fuck is up.
Yeah.
It's fucking The Outer Ones by Revocation. It's gruely, it's nasty, it's fucking Lovecraftian. It is the fucking, dare I say, apotheosis of Lovecraftian modern tech death album art. It is everything that every other tech death band wants to be, but is not. It is fucking awesome. Oh, I could fucking talk about this album art and this album for fucking decades. Look at that beautiful fucking sopping wet fucking like Stephen King in between universes kind of creature. Ooh,
yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this out there. This is one of my honorable mentions, because and you know what? Honestly, it should have made my list, but I don't know. First off, I knew you were gonna have it on here. I think that's like definitely gonna be in there. It's just exactly what you said. I don't think any other artwork or depiction of a Lovecraftian monster has or ever will come close. This is it, right?
Yeah, we'll continue.
And on top of that, like just like in terms of like it being iconic and like when I hear a Starless Darkness at the end, I'm picturing this thing just destroying the fucking universe, and like I see it vividly, and I love that they have the ability to not only have this artwork be there and like have it be so good, but have the music actually, I feel like, connect in such a way that I can feel it and see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is I talked highly of Aborted's tech death album. This is one of my favorite metal albums ever, period. Beyond just being tech death, it is one of the best albums for metalheads ever. I love this album. Revocation is such a great band, and this album cover, it makes every other person or author who tries to approach cosmic horror but refuses to really describe anything look like an idiot. I understand that a lot of the mystique of cosmic horror is the fact that it's it's so great that the human mind can't comprehend it, and therefore the author doesn't even have to try to represent what it might look like. But fuck you, dude. You can try, and this is what happens when you try very hard. You fucking succeed, because this is awesome. It's so perfect. I love, like, the more I look at it and the more I try and comprehend the real sense of scale that's going on here, this fucking amorphous being looks like it is the skin of the universe itself, the way it just kind of drops out, and it's just devouring planets.
Like, you can't even tell where it begins or where it ends.
Yeah.
You're right?
Dude,
Like,
we should make like an album creature power scaling tier list.
Oh, fuck yes. This guy versus the 10,000 Days cover.
Yeah, this guy versus the fucking aborted guys.
Yes. Fuck yeah. There you go. That's the next one. We're writing that down.
But I like
this wins.
Yeah. I like the fact that there's a square planet. I think that's kind of funny.
I didn't even see.
If you look,
at the bottom.
yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I don't know. I just kind of find that funny. I don't think it's supposed to be funny, but I think it's funny.
It's really funny. I'm sorry.
And it just eats planets, and it looks insect-like, which I think most, like, that's very H.R. Geiger kind of character design, which, you know, means that it's also all of horror design ever for 1 billion years, because every single time that a designer or character designer has to design an alien, they give it just insect limbs, which can be a bit of a cop-out. But here, it's just awesome. And it has tentacles, which is very, very H.P. Lovecraft.
And a lot of eyeballs, which is
it's just more eyeballs. Yep. It's got a triangular mouth. Awesome.
Right. And another, I start like keep talking about his, like, where he ends and begins. Like usually I could think, at first when I see it, I think like from his mouth and up, that's his body. Yeah. Right. But yeah, if you look at the top right, that's like a whole galaxy and a sun right there. So is it, or like exactly, like, where is he? I can't figure it out, and I love that.
He looks as though he is the fabric of the universe, which I fancy quite a lot.
Yep. Like that. It's honest. Again, it's perfect. I really do fucking love this thing. It should have been in my list. I'm not gonna lie. I regret it now, but yeah.
I think
best album. Please listen to it. I don't hear enough love for it.
We gotta talk about more just the music of these albums a bit more in a different video.
Yeah,
I think.
Agreed. But yeah,
what are your honorable mentions?